up and that ain't nothing's wrong. Just get ready.
We are live. Let me jump in here. Hey, I'm Yolanda, and one of the baddest producers in Atlanta. 14 years blogging at DryerBuzz.com, okay? But 20 years connecting the diaspora, 30 years closing the digital divide. I know what it is to create buzz. And I'm creating buzz today with these two fellas behind us. Let me just say that DryerBuzzTV is back from spring break. Everybody enjoy the time off? You enjoyed the time off?
I did.
Okay. Well, we're coming back with the language of men. I've got Andre Carter over here. I've got Roosevelt McQueen over here. And let me tell you, a blogger once said, real men don't do reality TV. I think Andre...
I agree.
He agrees.
Yes,
all right, listen. The ladies are going to go to the background. We're going to chill out and listen. What happens when you let men speak? Let's find out. Here we go. If you could tell us about your perceptions all the way to your politics, what would you say if we let men speak? Take it away.
Awesome. How you doing? I'm Andre Carter of Braxton Family Values, and no, I'm not Mr. Braxton. I'm Andre Carter. All right, and this is
Roosevelt McQueen, and I'm a author basically, and right now I'm the president and CEO of Roosevelt McQueen Ministries as well.
I like that title.
A local nonprofit. Trying to be like my man over here.
And we're here to talk about our works as well as what are perception of men on reality television. All right, let's start off with that. Now, a blogger once said, once again, real men don't do reality TV. I agree with that. If you guys know my history, I started off doing reality television with my wife in 2004 on a show called Starting Over on NBC. It won 2 Emmys, okay? But what most people don't know about reality shows is it's a lot of editing going on. So life is not an edit. You don't get a second chance in life to do things over. But on reality TV, you do, okay? Now here's the problem is with reality television, a lot of people take that as reality. Okay?
Right.
But it's edited reality. Do you understand that? You understand that, Steve?
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is you don't
Steve.
get it. You don't, Steve, I'm sorry.
Roosevelt.
I call him Steve Roosevelt. I should think of Roosevelt. I call him Steve McQueen. Anybody know about race car driving?
Right, it's all good.
But you just don't get that second chance. The problem I had with doing reality TV was this. If you're not an executive producer of the show, if you don't have that power to change things on the show, then they're going to put out there whatever they want to put out there. Now, we have to understand this about reality television. First of all, it's considered an entertainment entity. There's nothing, it's not a documentary series.
Of course.
It's not, to tell the truth about it. It's entertainment television. So you have to be entertained. And if you're not going to be entertained, you're not going to like it. Now, I've always said this about my wife's show, Braxton Family Values. I love the show. I hope you guys watch it too. I've always said this. They don't need us men on the show to bring the drama. They don't need us on there. But here's the problem. They brought me on the show, showed me one way, knowing that there was another side to that, okay? But they left that out intentionally because they said it entertained you guys more, and that's what you guys wanted to see. Is that true? Show of hands out there. Do you want to see that? Do you want to see that, Roosevelt?
Not particularly. I mean, no, I've never been reality TV. Believe it or not, I don't watch that much TV at all. I stay very busy, and so. But reality TV, I never knew what the behind the scenes was like. So that's very informative.
And don't get me wrong, I love drama just like the next person.
Yeah.
I want to be entertained. I mean, I'm gonna sit here and tell you, I watch Love and Hip Hop. That's funny to me. But I know it's creating a negative perception of quote unquote black people. But true enough, I want to be entertained by it too. I think it's funny. Right, but I don't think it's, I don't think it's every black person out there that's that way.
Of course.
It's just a medium of entertainment for me. So I'm like the next person. I love it too. What about you, Roosevelt? How you feel about that?
I do. I mean, I think that you got to appreciate different methods of just getting your voice heard or what have you, whether it's reality television, whether it's in books or that kind of thing. So I have a respect for a lot of different things. And while I might not particularly be very interested in reality TV necessarily, I respect it. So
Right.
It's
Now, what's real out here is me and Roosevelt out here trying to get our hustle on with our books that we wrote. Now, Roosevelt wrote an interesting concept in book. Tell them about that, man. I love this, man.
For those of you that don't know, of course, I had the privilege of being with Yolanda and the crew late last year, I think is when it was, and I talked about my book. It's entitled Perfect Imperfections. I think that what my friend Andre is talking about, though, is the way that it's written. We spoke about it a moment ago, and it's an entire novel written in poetry and prose. And so it's not your typical approach to writing when it comes to writing fictional novels and things like that. I mean, as I've shared before, it was literally an experience. I'm walking through a bookstore. I knew I wanted to write, but I didn't know exactly how that was going to take place. And so it was like an epiphany. I'm just, you know what, I was telling my brother at the time, we were at a discount bookstore. And he told me, I told him, I was like, all of the books, it just seemed like they all look the same. I mean, you read the back or you read the inside and, you know, a few pages or whatnot, and they all seem to have the same layout. And I don't know if anybody I didn't see any books rather that where it looked like anybody really dared to take that approach, but I wanted to tell my story in poetry and prose. And so when I told my brother that, he didn't really know what to think about it or whatever. He's like, okay, well, that's different. That's different. I mean, hey, it's different. But, you know, that at the time when I decided to write the book, or just before I decided to write the book, I had gotten my sort of introduction to writing through a dream. And so the only thing that made sense to me when I woke up from the dream was to write a poem. And so, that was just 3 years ago. And so when I wrote that poem, the only writing that I had been doing only had an ambition really to write, form I intended to write in was poetry. And so when I was in the store, naturally, I just, you know what, let me write the whole book. It was a challenge because typically when I write anything, I start with my thesis, or I start with a subject line or a title, basically. But with this book, I wrote the first 100 pages before I even knew what the title was going to be. I told with a different title, but it didn't totally encompass what it is that I wanted to tell in the story. And so once I then got the title, Perfect Imperfections, once I then, at that time, it told me where I was going to end the book, you know. So it didn't give me my beginning necessarily, but it certainly told me how I was going to take the book, or where I was going to take the book.
See, I like that.
Yeah,
now, I'm going to tell you guys my story. Now, I'm glad I'm here on DryerBuzz because I seem like I've been on spin cycle forever on Braxton Family Values. So now I get to be thrown in the dryer, so we get some help here. Now, let's talk about my writing. I've been writing since 1996.
Celebrity status.
All right, so I've been writing for a long time. The writing game has changed tremendously. When I got into writing, we had to go through literary agents. All right, and I have rejection letter after rejection letter from literary agents in California and New York. And what they told me was, we're not interested in your story. We're not interested in your story. Now, I was trying to tell a story of everybody else out there, but they weren't even interested because they said that it had no audience. That kind of hurt my feelings a little bit.
Of course.
The first book I submitted was called Crazy for a Man. And it was basically about a woman who was so in love with her man that she just gave up her family, moved to another city, stayed gone forever, got away from church because she was a good church girl. Y'all know how that is, church girl. She was a good church. She was a good church girl, but she got. That was my first story, Crazy for a Man. They didn't like it. They said when the audience, Roosevelt didn't know what it was. It's only about the church girl. We give him down. We could have stopped Roosevelt. But anyway.
No, you're going to get me in trouble.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Roosevelt married, I'm married. So we good. But we talk about the language of men. And ladies, look, let me say this to you. I've written some books. All right, I got a book here called Fried Fish. And people say, what is fried fish about?
Show the book.
I'm sorry. Now let me show the book. Fried fish. Okay? This is the concept of the book, or plot of the book. My character, her name is Jasmine Cruz. She owns her own company, big time girl, doing what she's got to do or whatever. She goes to her 15th annual high school reunion, and she runs into a guy that she was so in love with in high school.
Yeah.
Okay? And Brock, his name is Brock Carter. Y'all get it? Brock Carter. Andre Carter. Brock. So I'm kind of playing it out through myself, if you understand what I'm saying. But anyway, but she runs into Brock, okay? And Brock is just, I mean, he's just drawn to her because he's actually followed her career since they graduated from high school, secretly. He's in love with her. But there's a problem. Jasmine is gay. Okay?
What?
And there was rumor about that in high school. You know how you had that girl in high school?
Yeah.
The rumor was going around. You know, they said I was a sword fighter in high school. It's because I used to write books and love poetry. They said I was a sword fighter. And one of my favorite authors is, writers is James Baldwin. And we all know, you know, so, no. But and one of my favorite books is Giovanni's Room. But anyway, that's the story of Jasmine, and Brock pursues her, but, you know, he finds out who she is, really is, and she's not ashamed to admit that to him. So in the end, you got to find out what happened, because it changes the concept of his life as well, the course of his life. So that's what I wrote on that one. But I also wrote some relationship books. What do you think about relationships?
Well, I mean, even with that, just to kind of use that as a segue, or to tie my book into that, it's literally about relationships. I mean, what book really isn't, you know, about relationships?
That's right. That's right.
While you have that encounter over there, this guy, the main character here is Jonathan Bay, who's it's just his life in relationships, whether it was with his employer, whether it was with a girlfriend, a first girlfriend, or a wife down the line, or that kind of thing, and then the processes. I think that it's what, at the conclusion of everything, it's like you fall in love, or you learn to fall in love with the process, because that's actually what you spend more time at.
Exactly.
You spend more time at. The end result is the end result. The beginning is its beginning. But the process is what you end up falling in love with, and you can miss a lot of things. You can miss the opportunities. You can miss the even the purpose of headache.
Can you go back to that process? Because they just started whispering over him when you said process. I'm just saying.
Now we like the part where you said the end is the end and the beginning is the beginning.
Right.
And then in between is the process. And the process.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. I mean, we spend with everything that we do, whether it's you're building a business, whether you're writing a book, it doesn't matter. I mean, whatever you're doing, you spend more time with the process. So why is that part of our existence more grueling than anything else that we experience?
That's correct.
If we fall in love with the process or whatever, it actually, in the end result, it makes it more grand, in my humble opinion. So it makes it more grand. It makes like, wow, you don't get to the end. It's like, ooh, I'm done. You get to the end and you celebrate, because you know it's like, this is the fruit of my labor. You know what I'm saying? And so but then when you have to tell others about it, you sell them, because you didn't just endure a process, you fell in love with it. And it crosses over like that as well.
Now,
So
speaking of that, before y'all move on, you got a book signing tomorrow.
Yes.
I got to remind you to mention that you are in the community again tomorrow at Community Bean.
At Community Bean.
The book signing where they can meet you tomorrow too.
Certainly. As she mentioned, as Yolanda mentioned, I'll be at Columbia. I'm at Community Bean. I'm sorry, I'm getting over.
But their first anniversary.
Yes, it was a tremendous privilege. Marlene's one of the owners there. She invited me to be basically at the center of their first year anniversary. We met before they got started, and so our relationship just kind of grew. You know, I'm meeting a lot of people, believe it or not, even when we're talking about process. Meeting a lot of people who are at their beginnings, you know, and so this is a privilege to come and meet a celebrity.
Me?
Man, just go with me for a second. Meet somebody who's been at the game for a minute. You know what I'm saying? And so it's this is inspiring, you know. And you see Tuya, you see Yolanda, who's been at the game for a minute and everything like that. So, but in my processes, I was meeting a tremendous amount of people who were just beginning, and that was Marlene's story. You know, she had been at Starbucks for Oh my God. I think a couple of decades or something like that. But she's been in that industry, and they launched out, even if that's not totally accurate. They launched out. I mean, it's a big deal. And so I'll be there. Well, Saturday is what we originally agreed on. So Saturday from 3 till 6, I'll be there with my book signing, and then just kind of hang out because there's an open mic later on that evening at 6:30. But I'll also be there tonight at 6. There's a barbecue that's happening out there. And so, yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, Hudson Barbecue. Yeah,
Hudson Barbecue. It's a fundraiser tonight. $5 for you to stack a plate. I'm telling you. And the $5 goes to the pet pantry.
I don't like a lot of fat on my ribs.
Exactly.
No fat on my ribs.
So you got to stay in Douglasville. You got to got Douglasville today.
God knows.
But let me ask you though, because you said, and I'm just going to throw one of the questions out there. You said, looking at what Andre has laid out there is inspiring. And men oftentimes have a tendency to pour into each other. Yeah. More so than one of the things that we've been doing as we've been scoping is trying to get women to that point. Right. But how is it that y'all men connect so easily? Because even when we bring guys in the scope, by the time they get on the scope, it's like their best friends been knowing each other forever.
I'm going to ask that.
Okay.
Universally speaking, men do have a commonality. And we do have a connection. We have a connection.
Okay.
Most people don't think that we do. When we walk into a room, we size a brother up in an instant.
Wow.
And once we size that brother up, we're like, oh, we can connect with this brother.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I can bond with this brother. And then when you see that you have something of substance, of valid, like something of substance sitting in your hand, like you can connect with, like he and I write. Oh, boom.
There you go.
Me and the young brother back there, we were talking, we've been to the same places. So we start connecting, we start vibing, and then you can tell, hey, where we're going from here, where not to go. Brothers size each other's up
Do you
quick.
get that? Do women do that?
That's crazy that we're even talking about this right now.
I promise. There's a book out there a long time ago that was written called Men Are From Mars, Women From Venus, right? Okay, that part is true.
It's true.
But universally speaking, all right, what the Bible tells us and what don't let me get religious on now. Let's go to Genesis. Okay, let's go to Genesis.
Going to Genesis,
chapter 2, verse 18. Man wasn't designed to be alone. We love y'all. We want to be with y'all. All of my books are written based on my relationship with women. I was raised by 2 strong women, my grandmother and my mother. So for women to think that we don't love them or we devalue them, that's not the truth. We want to be all that we can for women, but for some reason, when you guys get together, y'all just break a brother heart.
Oh, Lord.
Y'all tell any and everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, you walk into a room with your wife or significant other, and you see how other women look at you, like, man, what she done told these people here about me?
I can't take it.
So what we're saying is, we want y'all to share what y'all share with your girlfriend, share with us. We willing to listen. Y'all might not think we want to, because we want to watch the game or whatever, but I want to hear what you got to say. Because I don't want to be in a room and be uncomfortable.
Exactly.
So wait a minute. You said game. Can we interrupt the game?
Yeah, you can interrupt the game. You're my woman. You know what I'm saying?
There ain't a woman out there that realized that.
Hey, if you walk in there with the right things on, you know what I'm saying? You definitely got my attention. It's good.
Yes, sir. I mean, real talk. My wife and I, we were just literally having this discussion maybe about a week ago about the differences. And, we had our opinions and things like that. Didn't research anything. I don't know the numbers that say this is the way that men think and this is the way that women think or whatever. In my experiences, as particularly I was in the Navy for 8 years. And so I hit the world. And with my experiences here in the U.S. and everything, it's there seems to be...
Leonard Jones
between
said
both.
Ain't nothing wrong with a naked interruption.
That's right. I know that's right.
No, I'm the only. We thank God it's me and First Lady. I'm good with that. But dig it though. I was with my encounters. What I found is that women are there's a competitive. There's competition on both sides of what happens. But with the competition, it can be.
What do you say right here?
Come on, the game.
Let's go to the first one. The first one says,
not a competition.
Not a competition.
Now when it comes to men, typically what I found is that when it comes to men, if there's competition, generally it's like it's like a healthy competition. It's like, okay, dog, I see what you. Okay, my bad. You got me this time.
Depends on the man.
I know. See, we're talking about the exceptions.
Exactly.
So, but generally speaking, because it's always going to depend on the individual.
Because no man wants to be on the losing side.
They don't. But I mean,
because
like,
if he is, he's going to be looked at as a punk. Can't take his own.
Right.
What you doing? She taking care of you. Take your diapers off, take your pampers off.
Oh,
Brother,
God.
what you doing? You looking for something?
Well, what I'm talking about more so is like the competitiveness between men in terms of what we're in terms of like why we may be better at gelling with each other versus women, that kind of thing. And so a woman will walk in a room and see another woman that looks like she might be upstaging her or whatever. It's like, who she thinks she is.
Ooh.
I don't even know that language for myself. I don't know that language. I see a brother's like, okay, I see you got your little swag or something like that. You're doing your thing.
Somebody that she wants.
Come on.
Girl,
Come on.
I
So
get that.
that is actually what I found to be the thing.
Right.
It's like, if you're not campaigning for something, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're not in competition for what it is that you see, whether it's the buffet line or the available brother over here. You're not. I mean, it's if there's no need to compete, you're not going to see it.
Exactly.
But if you want what you see and you see other people going for the same thing, you're going to try to stand out, or But fellas, I can let you do your thing, but that's just me though.
Right.
I can let you do your thing. You have your shine.
That's why I wrote this book, Relationship Game, because first of all,
We just gonna tilt you around a little
Okay,
bit.
well,
Y'all get into each other.
I'm talking.
I know. We still want to get you in the shot.
That's why I wrote this book, because the first thing women say about men is we don't know ourselves. You don't know yourself. You don't know you.
Wow.
You don't know yourself. So I wrote this book, Relationship Game. What I wrote in here is 69 different things that we encounter in relationships where you should actually know yourself, all right? So I'm going to give Roosevelt this book. I know myself. I read it. All right, Roosevelt, look, check it out. Now, I want him to open this up. I know that, first of all, I'm a 4. What's a 4?
What's a 4? Okay.
I'm a 4. Come on, Roosevelt.
Number 4, compliment.
Compliment. That
Okay.
means that my wife said I don't compliment her enough. I think she gets all the compliments she needs. She fine as heck. I know she's fine.
That's
But
what
she
I'm
was like,
talking
when you
about,
first
brother.
met me, you gave me all the compliments in the world. I said, well, that's the game I was trying to get to you. So now I got it. She was like, no, now you messed up the game now. You see what I'm saying, Roosevelt? You got to give her more than compliments, all right?
Right.
Next thing you know, I'm a 15. Come on, Roosevelt.
15.
15.
Number 15. Uh-oh.
15. Respect family.
Right. Now, I married a woman that has a strong family. You guys watch the show, all right? And they come at you at every angle, Roosevelt. I don't know how many men have been involved in a relationship where a woman is just, she got a family, the mama talk about you, the sisters come after you, the brother come after you, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Man, that can try your nerves, right?
No
That's
doubt,
why I'm
no
bald
doubt.
right now. You see what
I can't take it really. I thought it was choice, man. I mean,
Well, it
you
is
got
kind of
to
tough, but it was just
tighten it up,
He said tighten it up. Okay. And then next thing, I'm a 26. Go ahead, Roosevelt. Preach to him.
Okay,
26.
we preaching.
26.
Okay.
Preach on now. I'm a
So,
26.
26 is honesty.
Honesty. My wife says that when we talk, she wants me to give her the full honesty. She wants my honest opinion, my honest. I said, you want the whole truth and nothing
And
but the
nothing
truth.
but the truth.
You see what I'm saying? I was like, oh no, you ain't gonna like me after this one. She's like, You feel me, Roosevelt?
Hey,
okay.
Phil.
Next thing, all right, Roosevelt. I'm a
yeah.
42. Let's go, 42.
42.
Come on.
Acceptance of friends.
Okay, my wife has some of these friends that they just talk about a brother like a dog.
I can't take
You
it.
see what I'm saying? So I have to learn how to accept her friends who were friends before I got there. But my problem is they got to accept me as her husband.
That's right.
No
You
doubt,
feel what
no
I'm saying?
doubt.
Pre-
Talk about obligation.
Yeah. So
Come on,
can
it's
we
on
give a
both
little,
sides.
give a little bit, take a little bit? So when you leave me, you go to that friend's house that you had, and your friends up there talking about what Andre needs to do and what Andre ain't doing, and then you come home and get an attitude with me, and I can't get no nookie. Something going on. You feel what I'm saying,
Man, this
Roosevelt?
is-
All right, next
yeah.
thing. Then I'm a 55. Come on, Roosevelt.
55.
I know myself.
Professional help.
Professional help, meaning that at some point men have to realize when you need to go see somebody to help you with your relationship.
I know.
As a man, we always think we can fix everything.
I-
Hammer here, nail there. Dude, don't work that way all the time. You feel what I'm saying?
I ain't finished yet. Hold
You ain't finished yet? I want to
I know myself.
bring it back to
Okay,
that.
I'm gonna bring it back to that. All right,
Okay.
Last thing, I'm a 62. What's 62, Roosevelt?
62 is the blame game.
The blame game, meaning that I blamed her for everything that went wrong on our relationship. Like if she went and bought something, I said, I told you not to get that. I told you not to get that.
Wow.
You bring it, see? So as a man, you have to learn how to accept some blame yourself. Because one day she turned the thing around on me and she said, well, what have you done wrong?
I dig that.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's what that book is all about. Learn yourself. Now, I gave the book to my wife to read, to tell about me. She came up with some totally different stuff.
Okay.
All right. I gave it to my mother to read. She came up with it. I gave it to my brother. So that's what it's all about. Knowing yourself. So that's where we start. Once you know yourself. There you go, Roosevelt.
I like that.
Okay. Now you wanted to come back to something. What you want to come back to?
Well, I just remembered when you mentioned getting help or whatnot. I remember, there was it was me and some other guy. We close, we're really good friends and whatnot. We were kind of we were in college together, and our sort of way of life, our ways of life was kind of different or what have you. It seemed like I had access to and options when it came to ladies or whatever.
Okay.
And
What? You were a player.
Man, come on, dude.
Okay,
You know,
you were a
nobody said
player.
that.
Roosevelt the
When
player.
it came to my,
That's
not
why you
even
got the
that.
ways.
Absolutely not. But when it came to my friend, he didn't. He didn't, and so it was one of those things. Because he was a counselor in at the core of his being or whatnot. He got to a point where because it was harder for him to get to the woman of his choice, he didn't want to coach other men. And this ties back into the competition as well. He felt intimidated by giving other men who had that edge over him the wisdom that he had, making it hard for him to compete. And so it's
And that's
basically,
that's what I say. That's a perception that we need to change about women.
Yeah.
Back in my day, we used to be players. Now, all these young kids talk about is doing pimps. They want to pimp women. Come on, man. Stay off the pimping field. Don't do no pimping no more. Come on, let's love. We love y'all. We love y'all. Y'all so fine. I love y'all. You love them? I love my wife. She's so fine. Come on, nigga.
Okay, all right, y'all. We had our 5-minute warning. We're gonna go into overtime. And this is where you're gonna wrap up. You want to tell everybody how to follow you, what you got going on, and then the ladies are coming up with a couple of hot questions.
Okay.
They're gonna throw at you in that 5-minute overtime before we get ready to end out and go into our after show. All right. All right. So tell everybody again how to follow you, about the books and what's in the books and everything, and then we got some questions.
Okay, I'm Andre Carter. You can follow me on Twitter at I Know Andre. You can follow me on Instagram, I Know Andre. You can hit me up on my website at iknowandre.com. So everything is I Know Andre, real simple. So you know the real Andre, not the reality TV Andre, the real Andre. And then I have some of my books here. I've actually written 10 novels, 10 books. I've written 2 relationship books and 8 fictional novels. So you can check me out there. I won an Independent Publisher Award in 2015 for my book, A Profile in Black. So check me out. My books are available at barnesandnoble.com. They're also available at amazon.com. And they're available at my website, iknowandre.com. That's me.
Awesome. Again, I'm Roosevelt McQueen. I've written 1 novel. I've written 1 novel. Again, Perfect Imperfections, the struggle between guilt and revelation, fear and expectation. And so it's available online at rooseveltmcqueen.com, barnesandnoble.com, also booksamillion.com, or actually bam.com. And you can go to perfectimperfectionsbook.com as well. That'll take you directly to my website where you can buy a signed copy if you desire.
That's
Exactly. I'm available on all of the channels as well. Twitter at KingRo the First. That's KingRoThe1ST on Twitter. KingRo the First also on Instagram, and just Roosevelt McQueen on Facebook. I'm actually the only Roosevelt McQueen on Facebook. So you know you're gonna. This is good stuff. Okay, so that's me. Take note of how the book is written, particularly if you really enjoy poetry, poetry prose, and you just want to. And you just really want to just kind of understand it a little bit better. Yeah, this is.
You talk about
right
Christian Family Reunion.
Yes, Christian Family Reunion is actually one of the major event fundraisers for my nonprofit. Again, Roosevelt McQueen Ministries. It's a conglomerate that's designed to, much like what we are doing here, even in terms of networking. Our company's job is to bridge the gap between Christian entities and other, nonprofits. But the Christian Family Reunion is the first of which we're looking to launch this year at. The location is undefined at the moment, but it's going to be perpetuated annually. But again, as our not just as its own initiative, but as a major fundraiser for.
All right, question. Most of the guys we find that go on Language of Men, contrary to perception, they are married. Both of you are married. And there are a lot of young men out there trying to make that decision. The fellas we had on Valentine's Day said that men are looking to marry, but women are just not coming with that concept of bringing it, that this has to come together and how this has to come together. So speak to that a little bit for the ladies who are going to binge on your buzz this weekend.
In my opinion, I think a lot of women are looking to marry. They want to be married. They want to be loved. They don't want to go home alone at night. Nobody wants to be alone, not even a man. The problem is there's a divide in thought. And the media is putting a lot of divide out there. They're separating us. And when you read all these different things about men are from Mars and women are from Venus, and you get this embedded in your soul about certain things, and I'll never find a man, I want a perfect man, you got to get all that out, okay?
Exactly.
It's a case-by-case basis. A man is a case-by-case basis. Men are like fingerprints, okay?
Ooh.
All right?
Ooh.
Different. We got it different. I got a different upbringing from Roosevelt. He experienced love differently. I experienced love differently, but we all want to be loved. We have to. What we first have to do is define how we want to be loved. The first question a woman needs to ask whenever she gets into any kind of a relationship, first of all, does he show me love? Does he tell me he loves me? Do I feel loved? Real simple. If you can answer those questions, hey, found your right soul.
No doubt.
Wait, I'm gonna come to you.
Sure.
The fingerprint part, because women think that men are
We're not the same.
All the same.
We're not the same.
It's not.
Because
We're
once
not.
again, that's what they're reading. That's what they're being told. They're generalized. It's just like the black population. You don't want to be generalized as being hip-hoppers, your pants hanging low. That's not who I am. I mean, we don't want to be generalized. So when I walk into an interview, I don't want you to generalize me. I'm a fingerprint. I'm different. A different experience.
It's the if I can tie that back in, it's the process. The thing is that for countless years, we have been the ones that we had to be the approacher. And so the game seems to be similar in terms of how we approach a woman. It's like, okay, you can't do this. Don't call her the day after you get up. Don't ask her for a number. Do this, the rules and everything like that. But that's a man conforming to what the consensus among women suggests that we have to do to come proper. It's like, don't step to me. It's like, you've heard it. Don't come to me unless you come correct. I don't know if they're still saying that kind of stuff or whatever. But the approach. But what you don't see when the approach is expected to be the same is the individuality of that person or whatever. You see conformity, and that's why, in my humble opinion, I think that if you stop at let's just say that game, that initial game wasn't right. Well, your impression is going to be the same because you stopped at the conformity. You didn't allow have coffee with that man or something like that. Get him out of the circumstance that if you know that this is the conformity, take him out of the circumstance that causes him to identify with every other man. We're men, yes, that's just our common denominator, right. But it's not it.
But women know how to size men up. The women size men up, exponentially. They size them up
Come on,
100
man.
times faster than how we size up women. I mean, before you even walk up and say hello, a woman has judged you based on your appearance, based on your shoes, based on how you talk, based on what drink you buy her, or even if you offered to buy her a drink.
Right.
They already sized you up, and they will know, hey, this is not the type of brother I want to talk to. But sometimes you miss something by sizing them up so
really
quickly.
do, man.
You just eliminated maybe your good man because you done sized this brother. A brother, we'll take a long time to size women up. I mean, we'll go through a whole bunch of them.
Let me see.
We'll take our turn.
It's at the core of it, though. At the core of it, it's really fear. Because the thing is like, I remember I was, me and my wife, we were out running some errands, and we ran into this young lady who was utterly devastated about going into a relationship at all. We're not even talking about the subject of marriage. She didn't want to enter into a relationship. Now, she had an issue with the fact that her parents, between the two of them, had been through 7 marriages. So I understand it.
All that.
But the thing is that it's like when it comes down to we the things that are the hardest to deal with, we don't accept those hard things as the natural course of life. I mean, who doesn't confront fear and find themselves becoming a better version of themselves? Who doesn't confront faults and failures and don't become a better version of themselves? Come on, I mean, it's I was like, okay, we're making too much of an issue out of heartbreak. We're making too much of an issue out of whether it's infidelity, whether it's whatever. I mean, make your decision based on what it is that you can deal with. But the fact is that it's a part of life.
And let me tell you this. My mother always told me, all right, don't think that the first thing you get is going to be the last thing that you'll ever have.
Come on, man.
Okay? Don't ever believe that. And a lot of women think that way. Don't think that. Don't think that you got to stay with it. If it's not working, leave. Right? Just don't be afraid. Don't be fearful of that. Because, hey, look, if you really believe in the God you say you believe in, there's no reason for you to be fearful of that. Am I correct?
That's right now.
That's all I got to say, brother.
Amen.
I think that's it right there, y'all. All right, tell everybody. I don't know. Tell everybody you see them next time because we got to bring you guys back.
Oh, they want to bring it back to the dryer. Okay, I can't wait to come back.
It's a privilege. I can't wait to come back. So,
Awesome.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you for the opportunity, and we see you next time on DryerBuzz.
There you go. Binge on Buzz all weekend, guys. That was your great barbershop debate tape live here at 2 here. We'll be right back. We got an after show. Okay, so we're going to stop so you guys can tell all your friends to go and watch what you just watched. Thanks so much for the hearts. Thanks so much for all the shares. Let me see who is that. Great show. Leonard Jones, we got to get you over here in this chair. All right. All right, guys. We'll be back after the show right after this.
But I wake up and nothing's wrong. Just get ready for work.
You are definitely a spiritually filled, thinking woman, and that is what we've been lacking in our community.
Go now to DryerBuzz.com and follow @DryerBuzz on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. It's all about the buzz.
I never had something that you never seen, something that you never been. But I wake up and nothing's wrong. Just get ready for work.